A very good and warm morning to everyone assembled here. The galaxy of intellectuals, invited guests, teachers, and my dear friend. How different is this morning? The vibes around tell a beautiful tale which is truly unforgettable. I, Khushbu, and Shiva, your today's host, welcome you all on behalf of Laburnum Public School. Laburnum started its journey back in 2030. It is set in the foot of Aravali Hills, amidst a very famous Rajputana village, Bhonsi. Laburnum was started with a vision to provide the renewed zeal and a positive approach towards the new opportunities to the young generations and to provide a learning environment that allows the children to naturally absorb fact, acquire knowledge, showcase their talent, and thereby bring out the best in each child. And we are blessed to be the part of this institute. Today, we all are gathered here with one common objective to talk about the removing tangible barrier for the children to escape poverty. Now, I invite our Honorable Principal Ma'am Dr. Bhavna Chibbar to say a few words. Please, ma'am.
As we all know, no poverty is the first and an important sustainable development goal. And everyone is aware of that if we have to work towards the sustainability, towards the growth of the whole world, then we need to remove the poverty. And this SDG goal number 1 says that we need to eradicate extreme poverty for all people everywhere by 2030. So, this agenda has taken a good growth. Means when they had an analysis in 2015, the percentage was 10.1, falling, but it has fallen in 2018 by 8.6%. But due to Corona, it has a sharp increment from 8.3 in 2019 to 9.2 in 2020. So we need to take care of this goal in a very proper strategic manner. This impact of COVID has basically COVID-19 pandemic has reversed the steady progress of the poverty reduction over the past 25 years. So we need to work on this, and you all are the warriors for this reason. We can't reach the target if this young generation, it will not support us. So let's join hands together to sensitize this important topic and the awareness that what are the steps which we could take to remove poverty. So over to you, Khushbu, to take this session to a new heights. And thank you to all the students from the different schools as well as the representative of the schools to partner with us in this talk series. This is the platform wherein we are giving our students a space wherein they can represent their thoughts in an effective manner. Thank you so much. Over to you, Khushbu.
Thank you. Hello. I would like to ask you that what are the barriers to overcoming child poverty?
Good morning to everyone present on the online session. I am Pranshu Vatsa from Kalka Public School. Child poverty refers to a state of children living in poverty and applies to children from poor families or orphans being raised with very limited or no resources. It is estimated that about 600 million children are affected in poor countries and 30 million children in richer countries. Concern with child poverty is heightened partly because children are dependent and unable to look after themselves, and also because adequate investment in their development is needed for the long-term betterment of themselves. The barriers to remove child poverty can range anywhere from economic issues to uncontrollable factors like luck and any third person influence. The cycle of poverty. It is when a family remains in poverty over many successive generations. For this reason, breaking this cycle has been a focus of many governments as a way to reduce child poverty. Improving the quality of education is generally seen as the most effective way to break this cycle. The biggest barrier to children living in poverty are not having access to education. In many developing countries, children's access to education can be limited by numerous factors like lack of funding for education, not having the right environment, or overcrowded classrooms, a lack of learning materials, exclusion of children with disability, or even living in a country of conflict or risk of conflict. Other big barrier is nutrition. Low income is associated with poor nutrition. There is increasing evidence that poor nutrition in childhood is associated with both short-term and long-term adverse consequences, such as poorer immune status and poorer cognitive function and learning disability. These problems arise primarily because parents do not have enough money to spend on food. Large-scale public investment in public distribution system have aimed to reduce poverty and malnutrition in India. The PDS or Public Distribution System is the largest ever welfare program which provides subsidized food grains to poor households. The majority of poverty-stricken children are born to poor parents. Therefore, the causes of adult poverty, including government policies, lack of education, unemployment, social services, disabilities, and discrimination, significantly affect the presence of child poverty. New policies must be rendered to help children overcome their state. Moreover, greater national investments in social protection and support of the government to track and monitor progress on poverty reduction can also help to eliminate childhood poverty. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranshu. Now again we have Kirti from Kalka Public School. Hello, Kirti.
Hi.
I would like to ask you that what is the new global learning for poverty targets?
Good morning, everyone. In recent years, the world has made remarkable developments. Yet, more than 700 million people still live in extreme poverty. Sanitation, shelter, healthcare, education, etc. Across the globe, about 1 billion children are multidimensionally poor. Growing up in poverty increases the physical and emotional stress in a child's life. No matter where they are, children who grow up impoverished suffer from poor living standards, develop fewer skills for workforce, and earn lower wages as adults. These children get stuck in the vicious loop of poverty. Child poverty is neither inevitable nor immune to the efforts to address it. It can be reduced and even eradicated through continued attention and action. Government can play a major role in reducing child poverty. Developing opportunities for poor children to get admissions in schools can help them to tackle poverty in the long run. Increasing wages will lead to more people educating their children. Hygiene should be focused upon, especially in slum areas. Proper food nutrition should be provided to financially weaker children. In many countries, discrimination still carries on at local levels. This is a major issue that needs to be addressed for the sake of equality among people. Many countries are currently working on the mission of reducing child poverty through Sustainable Development Goals. SDGs are a collection of 17 interlinked global goals to transform the world. Crises within SDGs are faced by most countries and can be achieved through collective work. SDGs are universal in scope and their call to leave no one behind puts the world's most vulnerable people, including children, at the top of the agenda. From health to education, action in every field is being taken. Education is considered an important factor when we talk about reducing child poverty, but the question is, can education help to reduce poverty at all levels? Education and poverty are inversely related. The higher the level of education, lesser poorer the person will be. Knowledge and skills help the children in fulfillment of basic needs like water, sanitation, shelter, healthcare, education, etc. Lack of education and exposure is one of the major reasons of poverty. Education plays a central role in preparing individuals to enter the labor force. Through basic education, poor people learn more about health and are better able to protect themselves and their children against diseases. The level of health among children and young people improves if their parents are educated. Hence, education not only reduces poverty, it also makes lives of people better. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirti.
Now we have Kanan from Bhavan Public School. Hello, Kanan.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Kanan, I want you to answer the question that is it possible to achieve better success in poverty reduction?
Anyone who's ever dealt with poverty knows how expensive it is to be poor. Greetings to all. I, Kanan from class 9, will respond to one of the most frequently asked questions today. Is it possible to achieve success in poverty reduction? My answer will be simple and it is yes. Being poor entails feeling powerless and not having access to necessities like food, the circumstance that prevents you from putting your child in the school. And just by hearing these words, we are able to conjure up an image of suffering in our minds. The sad but true reality awakens us from our elaborate dreams in which everyone is treated equally. And it is even more despairing to know that the children of 21st century are sunk into this mess. People, because they are aware that their efforts will not move a single stick, don't even attempt to fight poverty, which is a very sad situation in itself. And the root causes of this hassle are literacy, limited access to resources, social exclusion, etc. The fight against poverty must be fought constantly and on many fronts, including its causes. Poverty is essentially caused by the absence of an academic background, marginalization, improper family planning, and vulnerability. Most often in poor households, people don't value education. They think that instead of educating their children, they should send their wards to work on farms, construction sites, or whatever. Poverty also leads to many other problems, like a much higher probability of going to jail, getting violent, being unable to get a good job, and not participating in the political arena because they lack information and the needed resources. But they ignore this fact. Education can change how they and their child view the world. It can change their state of livelihood and bring them to at least a substantial level. But now, the world is different. People recognize the need for schooling and family planning, oppose practices like untouchability, and help others realize it. People know that education can help them grow. There are various seminars and webinars held on this topic. There are also various campaigns to guide people as to how they can tackle poverty using effective measures. There are many government schemes to promote education too, like the Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, the scheme of vocational education, the National Merit cum Means Scholarship Scheme, etc. There are also various technologies that offer not only catch-up potential but also leapfrogging possibilities. Thus, in order to achieve success in poverty reduction, we will need to implement a bigger scale of growth, particularly in rural regions, as well as launch awareness initiatives about the many causes of poverty and how to address them. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanan.
According to you, what are the main challenges currently faced by poor people?
So, some of the most important problems faced by poor in our society is social discrimination, housing, subculture of poverty. Even after 46 years of planning, India is still one of the poorest countries in the world. Other countries, much smaller than India, have surged forward. Of the world's poor, every third is an Indian, and the number is on increase. Some of the variables on which poor differ from other are degree of participation in labor force, kind of employment, characteristics of the family, degree of the knowledge of the larger society, social awareness of social and economic rights, and value orientation in politics, religion, and social customs. Thank you.
Thank you, Van and Mahal, to present here and to join this session. To conclude the topic, overall, it is clear that the child poverty is a huge problem overall the world and is likely to worsen. But we need to take steps so that we can save children from poverty. Our wealthy and powerful nations must give all children the opportunity to reach their full potential, and it is estimated by 2030, as the principal ma'am already told to us, we will end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Thank you everyone once again.